Good afternoon, clerk, are you ready?
Yes.
Sound person, Zoom person, are we ready to start?
Ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, I'm Bill Clark, Mayor of the City of Stewart. We're here at 2 p.m. on January the 5th, 2021 at 121 Southwest Flagler Avenue. This is a special meeting that was called by myself to meet with each of our commissioners. And today at 2 p.m., I'm meeting with Commissioner Becky Bruner. Clerk, this morning when I started, I had said the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know if you need to do that now or just go straight into our meeting since it was a recess.
You can go straight into the meeting.
Okay, thank you, but we know that we're here through not our will, but hopefully a
We'll
strong
call the
power
roll.
is helping us and taking us through. So we pledge allegiance to our flag.
We
and
do.
Continued that this morning and now into the afternoon.
We'll call the roll if you don't mind, Mayor.
Okay, yes, so clerk, it's up to you. Let's call the roll, please.
Mayor Clark,
Yes,
Commissioner Bruner,
Here.
so we're both here at the appointed time as advertised. And thank you, Commissioner Bruner, for meeting with me as the mayor for 2021. You were our mayor in 2018 or
I think so.
2018 or 2019?
19.
2019, okay, okay, good. So what I'm trying to do is just to get some ideas and to share with my commissioners for the start of the year. Because usually we get so quickly into the budget come February through April. And sometimes when we have an idea of some things that we're gonna do for the next year budget, that helps us. And then it just helps to know which projects we want to try to work with in the coming year that are already, of course, in our budget, and then new ideas. And my ideas that I put out, I think you've received a memo from me through the city manager, visions and goals. Did you get that one? Oh, clerk, do you have an extra copy of the visions and goals? You can pass that along to Commissioner Bruner.
I haven't checked my mail. It might have been on my mailbox.
Okay, and so we're gonna give you that, and then I'm gonna give you my little list that I wanna try to work out today. And of course, my main thing is to listen to you and to hear from you. Do you have any ideas of any priorities or just any concerns about our city, about policies, our river, anything? So, I'd like to just, start with you. First of all, maybe when you were mayor, you had some unfinished pet projects that you said, this is the year that I'm gonna try to ask my commission to help me work on X or Y or Z.
Thank you.
So if there's anything that you have, Commissioner Bruner, I would love to do that. Otherwise, we can always discuss some of these items here. But just give me your take. And how was your holidays, by the way?
Oh, good. I rested and stayed home and slept. You know, with this COVID, I just don't like to get out. And then the second strain or whatever it's called coming around.
A
So
lot of variants, yeah.
at my age, it's scary.
It is scary.
So, but you know, only thing I feel, and I think we all feel this way as a city commissioner of our little town, it's very special. And to, you know, try to keep it that way, you know, like home rule, that we stick up for ourselves. And there's so many commissioners in the state of Florida that, you know, always have home rule on their mind and go to Tallahassee, and like our Mike Meier when he was mayor last year. But to me, you know, we're always on top of the river. A lot of that with the river, we just try to do our best and speak as loud as we can and beat the drum, but you know, trying to have power.
When you say that we're, speak as loud as we can, would you support a lawsuit against the, Army Corps, or try to get an attorney to specifically deal with the Army Corps and the river, or to deal with other agencies, such as the South Florida Water Management? How do you feel about that? getting special legal counsel for the city to deal with river issues.
I've been really involved here, living here in the city with the river and very active with the river for the last 7 years. I believe we've come a long way. We even have, Jackie Thurlow-Lippisch, in South Florida Water. The Army Corps of Engineers are listening and watching, and they come here. And we've had every senator here in Florida. We've had every representative. And it's federal. A lot of it's federal. And we have Brian Mass, but you know all that. But to give you an answer, would I hire a lawyer? With our economic, I've been reading a lot on our economic, in our country, the world. And it's not good out there. It's really rough. And we're going to see it probably in the next 10, 11, 12 months. We have to really be careful. And I think, we should wait until when the rains start coming, when they do, and see where we are financially.
The levels of the.
Yeah, see where we are in June.
Okay.
And if they're listening, are they paying attention? If they are, and they're trying to do their best. And if we don't get any answers, then.
And you're saying that litigation costs a lot, and if you jump into that fight, you have to have the money to take it to the very end.
Yeah.
And see good results.
You can say 100,000, but it might be 500 or 300 or 400,000 a year. And you've also said we need some help on that. Yes. And we would, I think.
Do you think about collaborating with other entities?
Yeah, I think we would.
Water management, the county, and other people?
I don't know that they would, but maybe the county, Okay. Or the grants, but that's an idea, how many people would help. But Mr. What was his name? Mr. Max that came in and
Stuckey, Mr.
Stuckey. When he came in here, I think I don't know if he realizes how much it would cost. I just think it would be a big expense, but I'm not going to say no. Okay. I just don't know.
Okay, all right, that's good. And you had started out with the various strains of COVID, and as you see at the top of my page, I have this COVID, and so many people are wondering, where did they get signed up? How did they get tested? What is the kind of testing in Martin County? Is it at the hospital? Is it at the health department? Is it at your own medical office? What is going on? How does the message go out? How do you think we as a city can help our residents?
Well, Ms. Clark, Meier, I've been watching a lot of this on television, and we've got the medicine, but like they all say, getting it here and getting it in the arm, that's what they're all saying. But it becomes, it closes in. What do you call that when it flows and it closes in and trying to get it out? We become bottleneck or whatever you call it. And that's the problem is when it gets here, then what do? How do you spread it all out? And I believe the medical and our governor and those people in the county, the health department, how they could help. And I think they're working on this because we have a bottleneck. They know that we're going to have like some drive-throughs, just like we did with the COVID testing. It's going to have to be a lot more offices open up. And the problem is that a lot of the states, they don't have the money to do it because all this is paid for by the federal government, and getting it all here and getting it spread is very expensive. And that's what they've run into. And I think they're working hard on that and trying to get it together. But we as a city, I don't know what more we could do except, guide the people and help them when we get all the information.
And like get more public service information out to people about whatever means.
Yeah.
It's possible. And not everybody's on the internet. Not everybody even They have access to a phone, a lot of elderly people at home by themselves, so
Yeah,
if there's anything that probably we can do with that collaboration, if we know where some of these pockets are. COVID is so special, not just because of the virus, but because of how it affects us and our social ways. Normally, we could say, let's contact the council on aging, or let's contact the meal site, or let's contact the recreation department. We don't have people in these areas anymore, and it's like you have to individually find a way to contact people, because everybody's hiding in their own little bubble, as
They are.
so to speak. So it's not as easy as saying, let's go to this group and give them this, there are no groups.
yeah, and you know, we Americans, we expect and demand everything all at once. And I think that, you know, give it another week and we might have some answers to help the people, because they're trying really hard. They know they've got a problem with enough people, more money, and where they can set up shops and have extra nurses or whoever can give the shots. But that's another new problem we have.
Commissioner Bruner, one of the things that I'd like to do this year, so that maybe we can have some ideas for future years and future budgets, is to really focus on the East Stewart community and see what we can do to continue the planning efforts that are there, as well as try to restore some of that cultural, historic feel in that area, and try to develop some housing and work with the community. It's basically focusing a lot on East Europe redevelopment. In this, I don't know if it's gonna be in the same vein as how we really put a lot into doing downtown 25 years or more ago, but at least try to get something going, and so that the residents start getting more involved and the word start going out. How do you feel about that? Working and focusing on that area.
I always feel good about that area. But Mayor, every time we try to go over there, or we want to help with housing or set up a business or this or that, I feel like we get ran out every time. They're afraid. What's the word that when you can go in and they can build, or
You're talking about either gentrification
Yes.
or even
gentrification, and they're so afraid of that, and that's not true here in that situation. How is any of it going to grow and prosper if they're not willing for us to come in, or people that want to come in? How many of those housewarmings were the couple and their children, the Habitat for Humanity?
the Habitat homes.
That's not the most rewarding thing when we go there and see those people to have a home. There's
So you're in favor of doing more scattered lot home development?
yeah, there's a lot of property over there that's fallen down, and the grass is growing high, and I don't know who owns it. You know, I would be in favor of the monies that we get, and especially the money that development company, the last meeting, that we'll get to set aside. I would be very happy if, but this is just my own opinion. I don't know what
That's right, that's what we're here.
but I don't know what everyone else would say, or the manager, but I do believe that I feel they know what they're doing. They know how to do it. Let them see if they can get some of that old property bought up or donated to them, and we would help them with that money to build, or no, I forgot his name. He's the one that came here and was our commissioner for a few months. Blunt, Mr. Blunt, Nick.
The Housing Coalition.
Yeah, and he's a good guy. You know what a fine man he is, and he's wanting to do something like that. There's another thing to go there.
Okay, so you mentioned about using funds like that. What is your concept with regard to like a sinking fund or some type of a developer contribution to help with
Yeah,
affordable housing?
if we all agreed, it would be a contribution, yeah. or like to see Nick get something done. But I don't know, I've been here, I don't know what, coming around for, it's coming up on 4 years, and then coming to the meetings for a couple years, and I always feel like we're defeated every time. And when we go over there, I don't even like saying over there. I don't even know why it has to be separated. I wish we could all work together.
Okay. So that goes to my next thing about unity in the community. How do you think we can do that better? Whether with our police department, with our, businesses, when we talk about unity in the community, what kind of programs or ideas do you think help us foster that better?
Mayor, I don't know. I don't know what more we could do. I really care about my little town and the people over there. And I don't even like sitting here saying that. I like that community, this community. I like Stewart, the city of Stewart, all the people. I just wish we didn't have to separate it. Everything's separated. And it shouldn't be after all these years. We want to build a community over there. Our manager has showed us what all he wants to do over there. We all agree. We all want to do it. Dumping a lot of money in there. I don't know that that all that people have worked hard here in our police department and everything, working with the children and everything, and what they're able to give and take care of the kids over there. Jessica.
The 10th Street, right?
Yeah, all the people there. We've done a lot, Miss Clark.
Wonderful.
And we just keep at it. I can't wait to the ball field or whatever, basketball or
Basketball court.
yeah, and all
That's
that.
coming up soon in the next couple of months.
You know,
At the end of this month, probably.
and building the baseball fields or whatever they're going to build, football fields, and coming in the back way off for
14th Street.
yes, and Dixie, and have that. That'll be beautiful. But
Of course, that needs money again.
yeah,
Additional budget continuing.
for 4 or 5 years, but it can be done. So those are goals. I think we got a lot of goals to look towards.
Good. What about that city hall relocation and doing something with this property and working towards the future? You're continuing your
Yeah,
support of all that?
yeah. Yes, ma'am. We have been spoiled rotten here. I love it here. I do not want to go. But it's just an old building and we need to go over there. The thing is, the question is, what are we going to do with the property? And I think we need to go slow, take our time if we're still in our roles as commissioners, that this is a beautiful piece of property, and I don't know that we shouldn't touch it for a while. Beautiful park. There's so many things we could do here. So many things. And if I'm not here, I hope that they go on. Everybody goes on and wants to do the best they can with this property. What the city, what the people of the city want. And there's another thing. When you say that, what does the city want? I mean, all the people in our city. That's East Stewart. That's not a separate city. It's all. And I just think so much could be done over there if that could be understood more. I don't know.
So maybe that's something that we need to work on communicating and trying to still break down some barriers if we need to.
Yeah, maybe if we have some leaders in the community, African American, you're a leader. What is the lawyer? More people involved that could help. There's a lot of fear over there, and I don't want them to be fearful. With the gentrification, we're not over there to do that. It's to help the community, to help. if I die, I want my old house that I live in to have some value for my kids. I'm going to leave it to my kids. So I wish that some of the men and women would understand that
And I think
we leave it to
that's-
our children. We want it to be nice.
And I think that's what has happened is that community has a lot of people who someone has left property to them and they want to keep the property within the family.
Family,
Instead of, turning it into a four-story hotel or
Right.
whatever. So that has been an issue, but of course that also geographically is in the center of our city. And all around it has all this downtown development. And we have this little community, which is traditionally, residential community and an African American community, which started on its own back in, I think, 1913, even before the city became a city, and it was all incorporated into the city. But we have all those housing issues from the past, and some of those things, we're working to deal with them. And you're right, communication is something that's important. I thank you for
Yeah.
that. We're back to housing and other things. Housing the homeless is a big issue. I don't know, we'll get a survey, I think, in February. Normally the county does that to do the homeless count and to see what's going on. I understand that we have homeless in our parks here in the city. And of course, in the county, you mentioned Mr. Blunt and his group. How do you feel about, homelessness or tenant or even workforce housing and other types of development that would attract people to an affordable place to live in Stewart itself?
I went to Walmart the other day. I wanted to keep going by that piece of property that the 13 acres we were over there, remember, and did the ribbon cutting or the shovel. And there's this guy there. He's got like 3 tents.
Right outside Walmart on.
Yes, it was hilarious. I had to go back and take a picture. Now he's strong and fat and the dog too, and standing out there and just happy as could be. And I thought, damn.
It's right by the woods, right by the woods.
Yeah. It's like he was going to take care of the entranceway, I guess, if you're going to come in there and live. But I don't know about homeless. I'm sure there's people that have it really bad, but then there's that guy and he likes just what he's doing. You're not going to put him in a home. And there's a lot like that, especially with drugs and alcohol. And I've seen a lot of them, really drunk and loaded too. So I don't think, I don't know. You can't put them in jail. That's not the place. Our sheriff tells us that we've got too much mental illness over there. So trying to find places for people to live.
Do you see a role for us to deal with mental illness at our city level?
Only thing we could do is give somebody money to go to a therapist. I don't think so. I don't think that's our job. We do a lot. We really do a lot. And it takes a lot of money, what we do.
All right.
Maybe we could have like phone, if anyone needs to help, is to have phone numbers to call and hotlines and things like that.
It's a linking with other people for the hotlines.
Yeah. Because I know New Horizons, when it goes to very, very mentally ill people and drugs and alcohol, they're the last people on the list. They're the last to get any money. Up there, they have to fight for every penny that New Horizons from the state. So it's hard to get money. And I know money's going to be really tight in the next year. It's going to really get tighter.
I've heard you say before, probably not city meeting or maybe when you were at the public event at the end of the day or something, about going by the Emerald 4 and pick up the Delroy guy, take him to church or something.
Oh, yeah, the veterans.
Have you heard anything from any of those people in that facility?
No, I
How
haven't.
they feel about it, if it's helping them, or if they would move into a home or something, if you were available to them?
No, I haven't been over there in a while to pick Delroy, but he gets around all over. He really does. I wish a lot more were were like him. But no, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people come and go. It changes over there quite a bit. And I want to mention one more thing too, just to be mentioning it, is a lot of the homeless people, they're up north all summer. And then they come down here for the winter. They just go back and forth. I was thinking, well, that, you know,
We might
that
have
just
an
might be.
explosion with COVID and homelessness this winter.
And there are a lot of organizations in this town. This is a great little county that help them. They have a place to eat every day of the week, all the churches. That's why they come here too.
Okay.
It's a good little town to come to.
Becky, I put on my, Commissioner Bruner, sorry. I put on my list about if there was any thought about reorganizing any department in terms of, is that our role, is that a city manager's role as our administrator? Is there any ideas that you could think of? Some people have a combined police/fire department, some people have a combined, whatever it is, that different things happen. I know that our public works, water and solid waste and everything has gotten combined over the years, streets, water, public works, whole 9 yards. I know we've kind of had two different administrators, well, but is there any ideas that you have or you think that should be left up to our city manager?
No, only one of the emails I got, I guess a week ago, or maybe it's been 2 weeks ago, were to meet with the Treasure Coast Regional Planning about doing more on West Stewart, they called it.
US one?
Yeah, and I am so happy that whenever we can get that started, because that starts making our town look more beautiful than it already is. You're cleaning it up, fixing it up. Do you know the people over here at this high-end condominium or townhouses?
Which one, you're talking about, Azul?
Yes, they love it here. They get on, come downstairs, take their dogs and just everything. They have the green market. They love it over there. Their grandchildren, they can go all over in the park. I wouldn't mind seeing another one because, and bring, I like the wealth. I think it really helps us, and to keep improving on having a fine city, a fine little city. We can't solve everybody's money problems. If you drive all around this city, you can see a lot of older homes, older condominiums. And I think we do need some more new to mix in. And I don't think we need to overbuild. I think we'll just try to do the best planning we can.
Okay, so.
One more thing I want to say. North Stewart, they've got the 4 stories. Then they want to put 4 stories South Stewart. And then kind of in the middle is where those guys are living in the woods. So we need that. There's like 3 places that hopefully they'll get them all built. And I think that will really help with price range too. You'll get it for less money if we have a few more. And it'll be scattered. I can't tell people to stop, but don't buy any property and don't build. But I like that it's going slow. It's not going as fast as people think it is. And for 10 years there, we didn't build anything. It was hard. It's hard running this town.
Okay, I think that kind of leads me into
Did I talk too much?
asking you about sustainable development,
Yeah.
supporting our sustainability plan and prioritizing that and working with that in the coming year, as well as setting up budget items for that when we have to try to implement our sustainability plan. So you're all in favor of that?
Yeah. Yeah, I willing to help you in any way that I can.
Is there anything that you was burning with you that you say, I want to bring this up with Mayor Clark? I don't like the color over here or something, anything. I don't know.
No,
Whatever
no.
it is that you see that you come across that, what
Uh-uh.
about when you were mayor? Is there some great big thing that you wanted to do that you're thinking, it's
No.
2 years later and I'm gonna do it?
No, I just like the CRA
Okay,
redevelopment. That is just what I like to see. You know, more trees, sidewalks, pavers, slow it down and more bikes. My son, I was telling my son that we're building more bike lanes because he goes off in the camper and they'll go to different towns, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, all through the South. And the bikes, him, his wife, and the kids, and they go to the city that has the bike routes. I mean, more and more young people are doing this with their children. So I would like to see more of it as much as we can to attract those type of people.
so you're saying like complete streets and also publish bike routes so that
Mhm.
people who are visiting,
Yeah,
it can be like a little attraction for them and make our.
yep.
our
And I didn't even
more
realize it
accessible.
till he told me. Electric bikes too.
So they can rent bikes in a downtown area and go biking
Hmm.
based on a route or take them to a river or lake or something.
Yeah. I don't think people realize that it's that important.
Mhm.
And maybe some on our board too, or the community boards don't realize how important it is. But I believe staff, Pinnell, she knows how important it is. It's because the last time we started to paint them green, I think we got a little bit of havoc from the people, and I don't think so. I think we should more of it, more slow it down. Because you've heard me say I want to get East Ocean all the way really nice out to the bridge.
What
Where they
about,
ride
you
the bikes.
mentioned bikes, what about buses or other forms of transportation, our public transit system for the county? How do you feel about that?
Well, the county, yeah, it's fine. I think the county's okay. I don't know a whole lot about it or what their budget is and how many people ride on it. But for the city, I like our little transit. I like it.
The little
Yeah,
cars.
people love that. You know, they take them all around to different places to get on and off. And that email we just got, David, what was, did they live here? Yes, they lived here and how they love getting on with the kids, you know?
Yeah.
So either walking or biking, make it just really safe. And the more beautiful we make it, it's warm, it's attractive. People want to come here.
I think that this was during the time when you were mayor, but there was some discussion about having, our system that we have here with the trams go all the way to Palm City Road or help people who need to go to a local grocery store or something like that. There was some discussion about that some time ago. Do you have any ideas about expanding the trolleys or trying to find monies or grant to have a more complete system of that and have it go further in our city, go out East Ocean Boulevard to Stuart Fine Foods or
I think we could,
go down Kenner Highway or wherever the sidewalks or whatever system
Yeah.
we come up with?
I
Do you
think
think just having it downtown is good enough?
for right now, I do. I think we need to grow a little more and see if we want to cross over. I don't know about crossing over on the roads and stuff. I think they've been looking into that. I know there's a lot of people, I didn't realize it, that have golf carts here in town. They zip through my neighborhood. But I don't know. I think they do cross over in the wintertime to that restaurant, don't they? Do they, David? The trans, doesn't it cross over at the light on US 1? At the bottom of the bridge.
Colorado?
No, Jefferson.
Okay, the
Yeah, Sailor's Return, yeah.
Sailor's Return, okay.
Yeah, passes there, I think.
Yeah, it goes over there sometimes. I'm guilty. I think I've gone over there on it.
But you know what, Ms. Carter, we're getting that boat ramp. That's going to be really nice.
Okay, at Shepherd's Park.
Yeah, that's a beautiful park. Anybody that gets to live in this little city, I think is blessed. Those condominiums right there, that those people who, I think they're already all sold. They're going to really enjoy this little town if they're not from here. It's just, you see more and more people walking. And I know I'm talking too much, but on Colorado, that little coffee shop, that's a hot little spot for,
Oh, the roasted
yes,
record? Okay.
it is a hot spot. I didn't realize how many young people that are downtown here in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I want that. I want to see more and more of that. You know, it's like what you see on television, you know, the big cities. They all come there and have their laptops or their phones and talk and have coffee. You know, they're meeting each other. They're mingling. The more we can do nice things outdoors, the better.
Wonderful. So you continue to support like the Green Market and the
Yeah,
the music on the Riverwalk and things
Yeah.
like that.
they love it. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I think that over the years, everyone that's worked here on staff or managers and lawyers have really done a great job with our little town. And just take it, and it's just fun to be here to watch it grow and be a part of it. Yeah. I want my granddaughter to come back here. She hadn't left yet, but when she does, you know,
Beautiful.
jobs. That's
Oh, jobs. So you're thinking that
just having,
if there are jobs here, maybe more young people will either stay here or return here after they get an
yeah,
education and training or whatever they go off to find in the world.
yeah. And even if it's not them, but other young people that move here, you know, even if the ones that have lived here and go off and maybe want to stay off. And I don't have any problem saying when people move here, bring your money. Wealthy people. This is a beautiful place. A lot of wealthy people want to come here and live here. And we've got a mixture of everything. So I like that. It's a melting pot. I love that. It helps pay for everything.
Yeah, it does.
When people move here, they want the best of everything. They want the best police department, fire department, you know, the best hospital. They want the best of everything. And I think the people that have taken care of our city have done a good job. Continue doing that. You know what I worry about is, and then just tell me when to stop,
You can, anytime you feel like, but it's fine.
is the hospital. I really see Cleveland growing and growing and moving everything to Port St. Lucie West. Because remember the plans, they had to do the hospital, 6 stories? I don't know if that'll ever be done with Cleveland now.
You think we'll lose a hospital right now?
If we did lose that hospital, we would be losing a lot. We'd have to look more into it.
We lose a lot of employment, that's for sure.
Yes.
Employment.
Yes, I don't know that it'll happen, but I've thought of that. I don't know why I brought it up. But anyway, Ms. Clark, that's all I have.
All right, sure, nothing
Yeah,
else?
no, I think you've done really good with all this. Really nice. Yeah. Well, maybe we could, if we're still around when they move into the new building, that we could have a little room for us commissioners. We gotta stick up for that, okay? We need a little room. It's too small here. Come in. Even though we don't need to be here that much. I'm not complaining, guys.
People think that I live here. I don't
Yes, they
know.
do. Us know we just go get our work and stuff.
They want to leave me something, they bring it to City Hall, and I'm like,
Thanks, Eula. Thank you very much for having this.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and your comments. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Even if you could work the mics.
Maybe Mike's come early. We'll see.
Um, Good afternoon. Today is January the 5th, 2021. We're at the Stewart City Commission Chambers at 121 Southwest Flagler Avenue. It's about 3 p.m. This was a meeting advertised as a special meeting to meet with the commissioners. I'm Eula Clark, the mayor of the city of Stewart. And my 3 p.m. meeting is with Commissioner Meier, or immediate past mayor. I'd just like to call this meeting to order and welcome Mr. Meier and to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mayor Clark,
Present.
Commissioner Meier,
Here.
Good. And Commissioner Meier, when we first started this morning with the other commissioners, we had said the Pledge of Allegiance. So we're still under the pledge and we're just gonna move forward. So I just wanna wish you a happy new year.
And to you.
Yes, and thank you for coming. You're the last person of the day as a commissioner. And like I said, being the previous mayor, I know that you have 85 things that you didn't get done, so we're gonna try to get them all done this year. So I'm more than happy to help you along. For this process, I had made up a little letter that I shared with the city manager, and it just has just a list of things, no specific policies or anything. And then my thing is to hear from you guys about some things that are important to you, and if you don't have anything, I have that list that I did, plus I have another new list that I made last time. It's not exactly new, it's essentially the same thing, but it has a little bit of priority. And my main thing is just to hear from you. This is the casting couch of the city of Stewart. Just relax and tell me your woes.
Woes.
Oh,
Well,
good things, good things.
No woes now that I'm not sitting in your seat anymore.
Wonderful.
Well, let me just start by saying thank you for holding this meeting and setting aside a whole day worth of your time. This is important, and I do regret not doing this kind of meeting when I started out as mayor last year. We didn't really have a new board per se, but I think it's good for us to be able to get time together and level set. And I know it's a lot of your time, especially to sit down and speak with everyone. So thank you for that. Especially after last year. I can't believe we're saying it's last year, 2020 being over. I'm still reeling a little bit. And I know we have a lot. I mean, we're not out of this yet, obviously. We're still in the middle of COVID and have a lot of, I think it's still going to get a little worse before it gets any better. So those are my woes. But my what I'm excited about this year is for us to be able to kind of, with the sense of the new year, to be able to turn the page to a new chapter and take on some new projects together. We did a lot last year. I mean, really, as I was thinking about what I want for 2021 and how it fits with this is a really great vision plan here, Madam Mayor, and it syncs up with a lot of my thoughts. Really, what I kept going back to was, wow, how much did we do this last year, even with COVID, even with the racial justice, protests, even with political insanity at the higher level. We got a lot done. We staff and through the work with the commission, we instituted our sustainability plan, which is huge. We approved, a large amount of new housing, which we have desperately needed in the city. So many things. And then, at the very end, it wasn't like we kind of petered out. Our last meeting, we kind of began getting rolling on a housing fund, affordable housing fund. So, so as I kind of sat down and thought, well, what are the new things I want to do? I really would like, and I've watched all the meetings, so I'll just put that out there. I really enjoyed watching everything today, and I've agreed with a lot of what has been said. My my focus, I would like to kind of remind all of us is that we have a lot of open stuff still here, right? We've got this new housing idea. We've got our sustainability action plan. You know, we've got whatever's going on with North Point. We've got potentially City Hall move. We've got a lot of irons in the fire. And I don't want us, you know, I can't believe I'm the one saying this, but I don't want us to be shooting for too many more stars without us making sure that our house is in order with everything we've already taken on. So, so I'm going to suggest that we really continue to work forward one bite at a time on these new policies and initiatives we've already undertaken this year. So, kind of to summarize, I know this year we're actually going hard on our straw and single-use waste ordinances. I really want us to not lose sight of that.
Implementing that.
Yeah, exactly. Making sure our community knows that it's there, that it's time, and to assess how that's working, what we might need to do to make sure everyone's aware of what's going on, address any challenges that have arisen over the last year of its soft rollout. Granted, I know everything was upside down last year, but I don't want us to lose sight of that. Certainly the housing fund. I want us to not lose any time. We need to get ourselves sorted out with regard to what this is going to be, how we want to prioritize allocating funds, what sort of goals we have for this, how we want to, if and how we want to continue funding it. There's a lot of great potential there. I know I voted against it, but now that it's here, you know, I really want us to be very, very thorough in how we work this out. We've got those regional planning council studies underway for the Gateway Triangle and for the a little bit further south. So I want to make sure we're following up on those, making sure we're not losing sight of the sustainability plan. It's codified. So, you know, what are our first steps going to be? Making sure that we're shepherding that process right. And then, you know, as we look at potentially moving City Hall in the shorter term, what are the steps we need to take to prepare both properties? Certainly here, we know we need to go up for a referendum if we're going to sell or develop. So I want to make sure we have some sort of game plan, right? And then over there at the Wells Fargo building, the future City Hall, as we're looking at developing it, the out parcels, I guess I should say, how can we partner with potential developers that might use those pieces to actually benefit, you know, mutually benefit, whether or not we're looking at potentially having some sort of parking structure, or how can we work it out together so that we're not reinventing the wheel or doing anything that will need to be undone or costing us more than it should. So I want to make sure we start kind of thinking of a game plan for that.
Do you see that as maybe generating in the future a more detailed corridor study along Osceola? Because if we have like a 5 or 10 year plan for the the City Hall implementation into the Wells Fargo building, maybe trying to figure out, how, not just what we do in our parcel, but what could potentially happen along that area.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think your board this year and in last year, I think we all have demonstrated that we believe in and like the idea of good planning, which is why we all are, voted for the Regional Planning Council study, right? We've had good plans in the past. Some of them we've moved on, others we've shelved. But with something as consequential as the expansion of our downtown along Osceola and Ocean, which is, for me anyway, part of the goal of us moving down that way. Certainly, I'm open to studies. I think that's an important thing we need to do.
You get ready to talk about shelf studies. I have on my list East Stewart.
Yes.
That study has been shelved since 2003.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to see how we can start picking up little pieces to do something and to include it in our regular budget and our regular planning, and trying to get communication going and get everybody on some type of equal.
there you go. That's a great example of a project that, we undertook, and we just sort of, through no individual person's fault, we just sort of dropped the ball. So yeah, I think that's a great initiative to add. So that's going to be my sense, right? I'm usually the guy coming in with like, let's shoot for the stars. This year I'll be wanting to sort of make sure we cross our T's and dot our I's on the big things that we've done in the last couple of years, and make sure that they're actually lasting and beneficial and working for us and our citizens and our businesses.
Mike, I don't know, I mean, you probably have a plan of things that you're gonna discuss further, but you just you're saying the word big things brings me to ask you, how do you feel about dedicating, a new attorney, for river issues, or, securing and dedicating funds for any future litigation with regard to the river?
I won't completely rule out a potential litigation. I think that's an important tool of last resort. I mean, if we can't stand up and litigate on behalf of our citizens, if there is indeed cause, I don't want to ever close the book on that completely forever and ever. Amen. I think that's an important option. Now, I don't think that we have cause at this moment. Not a lawyer. I don't even know what
They're
cause.
working on a lawsuit.
Right.
They're trying to get some, they're working on something right now.
I'm very happy with the progress we've made, largely thanks to now Vice Mayor Matheson's leadership on the issue, and our identifying of him and kind of promotion of him into that role, speaking as a single voice for the commission. He's done a great job. And not only, it's not just that he alone has been, championing and fighting. It's that he's taken this big problem, and he's looked for allies, and he's inserted himself and worked with staff to get involved in the process, so that we're not just railing against a bad situation. We're actually taking a step-by-step pragmatic approach towards fixing it. And that's the thing. I think, we've tried to communicate to the public, and certainly I know staff at the county and the county commissioners and administrator has tried to communicate to the public that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's an incredible amount of resources being dedicated to this in terms of staff and consultants, and lawyers, and in this process that I think it's a shame that the county has not really communicated it enough to get people to understand that we're not just sitting around twiddling our thumbs. But anyway, Vice Mayor Matheson has inserted himself, and by extension us, into that process to make sure that we're advocating where we need to. And I want to see that through. But again, if we have to see what's going to happen into the end of this dry season, into the beginning of next rainy season. It's a lot of uncertainty out there. We're going to continue, I think, need to continue to advocate for releasing water while we have to, releasing water during the dry season, so that we mitigate the risk of releases during that time when algae blooms will be more likely. And so long story short, yes, I think we should, I'm not ruling any litigation out, but I think I want to keep us going on the path we're going now. I don't think we right now need to be hiring a separate legal position, permanent legal position to be advocating, we might need to. Let's just see what's, we've got a couple more steps in the LOSIM process. So
Good.
that's where I'm at.
I had at the top of my list COVID-19, but I've heard the word COVID said by someone, and I don't want it to seem right, but, so what, do you have anything about, now we're having, 4 or 5 different variant strain. We have a variant strain here in Martin County. We have old buildings, we don't know what our air conditions, system, what is happening with different things. There's some, we have to protect our police and fire who are constantly in and out of buildings all the time, and, they're mostly, even though they're out on the road a lot, they're mostly in our buildings doing
Right.
work, and our staff has been in our buildings and other places, and we don't have a mask ordinance at the state or any other level, and there's so many things. So is there anything that you think that we can do to help try to get our community members to help each other in terms of, what's going on? And I know that people are concerned about the vaccine and availability and all that.
Well, I'm sure I don't have to tell you. I'm sure you know just as well as I, if more. Our government is complex and it's layered, and there are a lot of checks and balances and a lot of limitations on what each layer can do. And certainly us being at the, I don't want to say the lowest rung, the most local rung of our government structure, our hands are tied in a lot of ways. You know that. If there's one thing I learned this last year, sitting in that hot seat, it's that, there's a place for advocacy. It's an important thing that we need to do, but sometimes we have to, the hardest part is realizing our limitations and working with the system we've got. And what do they say? Dance with the one who brought you. We got to dance with the one who brought us. So I don't want to set unrealistic expectations for our citizens, for us on this board, to say that we can do X, Y, and Z and move heaven and earth to solve the COVID crisis, to get vaccines out to people, to enforce people to wear masks, to prevent community spread. There's so little we can do that I think we have to figure out, where do we need to advocate? Where can that be useful? Can we join forces in advocating for a particular policy position or something? And where can we be useful? Can we coordinate with the health department? Can we coordinate with the county if they need it? I mean, can our public safety, we're just a cog in the wheel. Let's be a good cog. That's how we're going to benefit our residents. And I don't mean to be nihilistic about it, but I think we have to recognize what our limitations are and try our best to help within that framework. So to be specific, I would say, I really think we should continue to be getting briefings from the health department so that we understand what our community situation is. I think we need to be coordinating and speaking with the county more frequently. But if we have from the state level, in some ways from the federal level, down through the state, if there are roadblocks, regulatory roadblocks or political challenges, there's not much we can do to overcome them. And I think we just need to work as best we can to help facilitate the health department, the state and federal agencies that are doing the work.
All right. Anything else? I had put on here something about any ideas about, we talked about East Stewart already, cultural district.
We didn't talk about the official cultural district directly. I think it's a great idea. I haven't heard, I mean, in the few times of my tenure on the board where we've, either been to a ribbon cutting or seen the dedication of a historic marker, the community loves that. I mean, and I'm not talking about just East Stewart community. Our residents, I watch people walk down through our historic little area here and check out the old buildings and the feed store. We went down and did the marker dedication for Pastor Gore's home, a historic home. Our community loves that. We have so much history here in the community, and I think, I don't see why we wouldn't want to dedicate and to highlight those historic, significant buildings and structures. So I'm all for that. I don't want to stop there, though. I think, with East Stewart, the biggest thing that I think we need to address really is sort of the economics of East Stewart. It's mostly a residential neighborhood, and historically, though, back in its heyday, there was a lot of mixed use. There was a vibe.
We had about 80 shops even in
Yeah.
the late 80s. They have 80. Now I don't, you may have one barber shop or two barber shops. So.
Yeah, there was a vibrant, and things change. It's not. I don't think it's it's not one particular problem that.
Advent of malls and other
Yes.
things like that.
Right. But we've seen, why has downtown Stewart, historic downtown Stewart, progressed, whereas East Stewart has sort of atrophied in terms of an economic vitality sense. So I want to think about that. And are there ways that we can partner with? I mean, we've got great kind of economic and business oriented groups in our county and in our region. And how can we highlight the work they're doing or bring them and their attention here? Again, it's like I don't think us at City Hall, we're going to really have the resources or the answers or the expertise to be able to have an economic vitality plan for East Stewart. But we can kind of help coordinate with the Economic Council, with the Business Development Board, with Career Source, Research Coast, Treasure Coast, and bring some opportunities to our community. My friend Howard Farrow, I'm so proud of him. He's opened up and I've gone and I get, we buy lunch from him pretty regularly at the farm for our staff lunch. And, I check in with him. How's it going, chef? And he's, it's not easy.
And he started on their little business development grant.
Yeah.
And he's had his business before, but the idea of coming there and doing that. So.
Right. And so I think, why don't, so for me, my first instinct would be to say, let's reach out or let's see what lessons can we learn from Chef Howard's experience, right? What are his challenges? Because he's actually on the ground right now trying to, build a new business in Harvey Plaza right on MLK. And can he help us understand better what those challenges are on the ground? So, I think we're already working on sort of a code refresh to help inspire smaller dwellings. I think that's going to benefit East Stewart, but I really think that it's the economic vitality, it's the local small business, the mixed use that East Stewart is missing. And how can we help promote that and
without people feeling like some type of gentrification or some type of eminent domain is eminent.
You're absolutely right.
Even though some of those things may not set up with logic, but we understand that we're in a climate now politically and everywhere where sometimes logic doesn't even matter. People believe certain things and they believe that that's what it is. So we'll have to. That's good.
At the end of the day, I think, I want to continue to step aside and I think our role in a lot of ways is to know what our limitations are and to know when to step aside and sort of raise up other groups or other agencies or other governments or organizations that can support them to do real work. And
They take
so,
responsibility and work towards achieving that goal
right,
for the community. That's true community building.
right,
And sustainability.
right. And if there are limitations that we can address, like is there a simple code problem that's making it hard for things to progress in a certain way, we can address that, right? So yeah, I think I think we need to just work together with the community, certainly. And I remember when we used to have those meetings around the rezoning and the East Stewart PUD, where we were at East Stewart Partnership and at Gertrude Walden. We did it a couple times every month, and we were out in the community eliciting feedback. And it wasn't like a big love fest. We got there was a lot of concern and a lot of, comments.
Pushback.
But that's good because it helps us learn, well, what then are the real issues that we need to make sure we're addressing. In a lot of ways, some of those things, the comments and the pushback, we're trying to address those problems through this policy change.
Yeah.
And how do we communicate that better? So I think we need to continue to prioritize getting out into the community again and reaching out a hand and saying, we're here, we're listening. We don't want to just continue to just let this sit,
Wonderful. You haven't said anything about did I talk to you about our police department or fire department?
No.
Let's talk about unity in the community. I know that you're very active with like you mentioned about participating in when the meetings were happening at Gertrude Walden through the East Stewart Main Street and other things like that. What does unity in the community mean to you?
I think it's just as simple as that. I think we can be unified without losing our sense of identity. I know that sometimes, like I was listening to some of the earlier comments, and I think there's nothing wrong with East Stewart being East Stewart. That doesn't make it difference is okay. I guess I should say, right? Like, it's okay that we have East Stewart and downtown Stewart and the creek. And I like that we can have little distinct areas that have their own flair and vibrancy and their own unique identity. For me, unity is not about everyone looking the same, acting the same, being the same. It's everyone feeling mutually respected and feeling safe and feeling like they're working together and, towards a better overall community. To be honest, this is one of those situations where, I don't know what it's like to live in East Stewart. I don't know what it's like to be a person of color. So I'm not going to try to insert my beliefs about what that must be like into the conversation. I'm just going to say, well, you tell me, and what are your stories and how can we make things a little bit better? Are our existing, I guess I would just ask, what is the community? Maybe we should think about a community sort of
listen board.
Well, yeah, maybe, or just, is there a way to elicit some feedback about how our existing, community services and community policing efforts are working? Not just working in terms of data, but in terms of how does the community feel about it? Are there any other ideas? Does the community like it? Does the community want to see more, police and fire at events? Or
Now that we're talking about this, and I didn't get to share that with the other commissioners this morning, but you kind of brought this I had met with city manager, right after I became, mayor. And one of my great goals, not just for East Stewart, but mostly for East Stewart, is what I call a cleanup, a clean street program, a cleanup
Yeah.
program, but it's not just like your everyday cleanup. So the idea that you're talking about, this listing board or whatever, I've been talking to, our planning director, Mr. Friedman.
Mm.
And I've been composing, I haven't published them yet, but I've been composing a list of, whatever you may want to call it, survey questions or things to discuss or whatever to bring to the people there. But any of those issues that you mentioned, whether it's housing or economic development or people's ideas about what is, historic and what is vital and important about East Stewart, what is important to maintain and to preserve in that area. I just put out that little vision thing, I don't know if you saw that. One of my themes on it is, preserving our past while embracing our future. That is the whole credo of our, CRA.
Yeah.
And so just keep passing that same message along each little community, whether it's a Palm City corridor, whether it's a US 1 corridor, right, downtown that the Regional Planning Council is gonna look at, whether it's East Stewart, whether it's, East Ocean Boulevard, whatever it is, just continuing looking at that. So in doing this whole Clean Street thing and working with our sustainable plan, I'm gonna meet back again with Ann Ellig and maybe bring some ideas to our commission
Yeah.
and see if there's something that we can either, if we need to do something in this year's budget, or if it's something that can be planned and worked through. But to spend like a 6, 7, 8 months just working and planning, and in the meantime, keeping things clean, but literally getting in there and talking to people, find out what's going on, find out what are the barriers, why is it that we can't move to the next step and do some things that started in downtown 29 or 30 years ago. And so, and it may not be the same things that are in downtown, but we're talking about viability,
Right.
vibrancy.
Right.
How do we get a vibrant community? Why is it that one part of a community withers and, we can be vibrant in its own way, and it may not even cost us anything. It just needs the freedom of people to know that. So many people have said, well, I have something, but they're scared to develop it, and I'm wondering why you're scared to develop it. If you're gonna develop, we know what the cost of everything is at Home Depot, we know what the cost of a building permit is.
Right.
And so, what is stopping something, you
Yeah.
know? And people are not sure, well, if we build something, somebody's gonna tell us to take it down because, it's gonna change.
Right.
But it hasn't changed in 30 or 40 years.
Right.
So let's try to do something that may last another 30 or 40 years. It's all I'm, I just want to shine a little light.
Yeah.
That's all it's not gonna be like we're gonna start a big public works project that needs $85 million to do something in East Stewart per se. And really just to get a comfort level and to have, things going. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So yeah, definitely I'm thinking about trying to work on something month by month, clean up as well as planning efforts, survey efforts, talking to people, highlighting people, just trying to bring everybody into the fold.
Right. I would love to be a part of that and help, be out and clean up and talk to people. I mean, and again, how can we work with, maybe we can find some partners to work with on that. I know that Keep Martin Beautiful is a local organization that does a lot, and I sponsor Baker Road up in north of the bridge. I think of it as Jensen still sometimes, but and I go and clean up, and I talk to a lot of people out there. I'm kind of not forced, but I'm stuck out there for a while. And so sometimes people come by and you have a little chat here and there. And especially now with all that development going on for Avonlea, boy, I get a lot of questions about.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think just being present with a project to do could be a good idea.
And I'll just say one more thing about East Stewart. I know, like, even just, let's say for the past 18 or 20 years, I know of about 3 or 4 major places that have literally gone down, including the Taylor property,
Yeah,
where the buildings have been removed, code enforcement has gone in. And then people ask me why. I used to like, the old Hardy pharmacy building.
yeah,
And that went away with, fire department may have used some buildings as an example for fire training or whatever. And people are saying, why? And so I'm thinking that maybe we can work with alternatives, that if we take this neighborhood and we say we're gonna work with this neighborhood, that if we have to work with some code changes that says, if you are going to knock down this house, right now I know of a home, it used to be the, what you call it, the lawn and garden home of the year, won an award right on the corner, right by the Martin Luther King Park.
Hmm.
That home has been waiting for like 2.5 years with code enforcement and has been waiting to get something from Florida Rebuild. And now they're waiting again to get the help that they need. And I'm like, well, maybe we talk about affordable housing and attainable housing and building new things from developers. What if we have some step-gap plans to help people to say that when these kind of things happen, how can we do something first before we have to just knock down a place? It's nice to have a empty lot and to build something from the ground up in a scattered lot if the money and the funding is available through Habitat or anybody else.
right.
But at the same time, if we can stop some of these buildings from being destroyed so that some of that quote unquote history is maintained and some of those landmarks are maintained. So those are the kind of things that I want to just put out in the open.
Yeah.
We've seen through COVID and seen from the national level right down to the local level, a lot of things have been put out in the open. And so I just want some of these things to be put out there and to have people either, I don't know, usually they would say put out or shut up or whatever that phrase is, I don't know. But basically, we all, take responsibility for redevelopment of quote unquote, our community.
Yeah,
Because this is our city, this is our community. And nobody's, the people who are the owners and who need to work on things, that's what needs to happen. So yeah, I'm glad that you allowed me to remember that and to bring that up.
sure.
Anything else? Any great ideas that you have? You still have 2.5 hours left.
Well, I don't want to talk for the sake of talking because there's been a lot of good discussion today. And like I said, I agree with a lot of what's already been discussed. I think, again, I don't want us to, I love that we're thinking big and thinking into the future, but I don't want us to lose sight of when we come up with these great initiatives, they need to be shepherded along, and I don't want to lose sight of them. It's fun to think really big, but then you got to do the work then of making sure that everything is put in place and that it's working. Sometimes big ideas don't turn out. Sometimes they end up causing unintended consequences, and so I want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on all of the things that we've already got in the pipeline. And I think that in a lot of ways, if there ever was a year for us to do that, this might be it, because of the challenges that we've made very likely face coming up into this budget cycle. I mean, for me, the city budget is probably the most important thing that we do. I know a lot of people only really think about us as approving developments and, drafting ordinances, but the budget is the real thing. The budget is our priorities manifested in terms of how we want to spend our money. So all of this, stuff, I feel like, how can we turn it into hard budget priorities? And that's what we need to kind of make sure we're focusing on in this budget cycle. But yeah, I think we need to be cautious and careful because we don't know what the future will bring, and making sure that we're looking out for our most, affected residents and businesses. and making sure that we're paying good attention to them, How can we help the most? Because again, with businesses, if the economy continues to kind of go all over the place and the numbers rise more and more, I don't think we're going to lock down, but we may continue to lose businesses. That means livelihoods, incomes, people getting evicted. I want to make sure we're doing everything we can within our power to protect and advocate for and help those people and businesses in our community this year. So, I always want to think big and dream big, but now is the time to really hunker down and look really small and local and keep everybody close, So anyway, well, Madam Mayor, I appreciate the time, and I know it's a long day for you, and I'm looking forward to this year. I know it's going to be a lot of challenges, but I think we'll rise to them. I know we will. We have to.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Did I ask you if there's any one particular thing that you'd like to do this year?
I feel very lucky and grateful that last year, and I know it wasn't just mine. I'm not trying to take all the credit for it, but that the commission and staff really went forward in a very, very decided way on our sustainability plan. And so, I feel like I kind of got what I wanted out of that. And I want to help support other initiatives from the board. And again, just make sure we're carefully following through with that. So I'm going to be conservative this year. No, nothing too big coming for me.
Wonderful. I remember the first time I became mayor, we did what they call a strategic plan, and that's similar, I guess, with the sustainability, just different topic, laid out differently, but the whole idea of just trying to have a plan,
Yeah.
some kind of strategic plan to move forward. So I think that our sustainability plan, the areas that are covered and the things that we need to do is going to give our staff, our city manager, a lot of work to pull things together and to get us some of those items in a budget, depending on how things are going with our economy. And so it's going to be interesting. So I just absolutely appreciate you being mayor in 2020. And I look forward to all of your help and advice as we all sit together as a commission in 2021. And I thank you. I thank you for your service, and I thank you for your genuineness and just your vibrancy, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And I thank all the other commissioners who were with me this morning. I think we were just trying to watch a clock so much, especially this morning. I didn't get a chance to thank everybody properly, but I want to just thank Vice Mayor Matheson and Commissioner McDonald and Commissioner Bruner this afternoon, and then now you, former Vice Mayor Meier. I just want to thank everyone so much, and I want to thank the staff with all the technical help and everybody. I just appreciate the fact that our city clerk, this is kind of like our first meeting of the year, although we're going to have another big meeting, but we're just starting out the year real fast here in Stewart. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, city manager and our city attorney, for sitting in on these sessions. City manager, what are we going to do with the notes from today?
Your individual notes or
The city clerk is just going to keep them?
Yes.
And did we have anybody on Zoom this afternoon?
Staff.
Okay, the staff looking in, okay. So, I'll probably make some notes and send to you. And then, of course, we'll always continue to work with staff and see what we can do. Thank you, and I thank the press for being here. Thank you so much. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Mike's off.